Haley, and this is Taya, and welcome to Supernatural. No, that's not right.
No, this is the
Hold
second time
on,
we've
let
done
me
this.
try that one again. I don't like how confident I was with that.
I edit this, right?
Yeah, I know. Hello, I'm Haley, and this is Taya, and welcome to Haley and Taya Rip Up Supernatural to start over and also sometimes talk about other stuff, a podcast.
Also known as HATRUSA, and this week we are talking about Season 2, Episode 8, Crossroad Blues. This episode originally aired on November 16th, 2006, and was written by Sarah Gamble.
Yeah, that's Sarah.
Who also wrote a bunch of shit. So many episodes.
So many shit.
Like so many. She wrote Dead in the Water!
Oh my god, my favorite episode.
And
So, okay, but she wrote those with somebody else, so that explains why this
Raelle
episode was
Tucker.
so lacking. Today's episode was boring. It happened, and I watched it, and we both watched it. We watched it together, and we watched it, and it happened. And it's been 30 minutes. Usually we watch the episode, and then right after we record. Today, I had to go eat dinner.
I also had to eat dinner.
It's been 30 minutes since I watched this episode, so this summary is gonna be fun. We open, and we're in the past. At least we assume that we're in the past. It doesn't say it across the screen, but like we assumed it was because there was a weird thing going on with the tone. But we're in the past. We're in a club, and somebody's playing music, and then he starts hearing barking, and he's like, "Uh-oh!" And Taya and I, because we are seasoned veterans, we're like, "Oh, hellhounds?" Yes, hellhounds. And he runs out, and nobody else can hear the dogs, and he starts having a heart attack, and he dies. Cool. Flashback forward. We're in the future. Well, we're in the present, which is now the past, technically, for us. Anyway, we're in the supernatural present, and Sam and Dean are in a coffee shop or a cafe, and Sam's like, "Dean, you're literally in the FBI database."
Yeah.
And Dean's like, "Cool." And then I don't know what happens, and then they go to I don't know how they found out about the hellhound spottings, but they do that, and they go to a place, and I don't even know who the first one. Oh, somebody dies. Somebody unsubscribes from life. Somebody unsubscribes from life, if you will. They're like, suspicious because he was a successful person, which is, my least favorite thing in true crime, but whatever. But in this one, it's like for a reason. It's because he made a deal with a demon, a Crossroads demon. They find out, and so did other people, and they link it all back to the same place. It's the same bar, and it happens to be the same bar that we saw in the beginning. Dean and Sam try to save one person. They do somehow. Dean finds out that John sacrificed himself for Dean's life. He kisses a demon, and the episode's over.
I'm just a little bit in awe of because you okay.
I hit the main points. Also, during this episode, I was having a little alcoholic beverage.
That's true. Haley was drinking.
Which I don't do ever. I had one because my brother got one, and I was like, "Can I have one?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So, I don't... Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm not accustomed to alcohol.
Okay. Alright. So, I am gonna try to, go through this Wikipedia page and just give you, 1 or 2 sentences per paragraph. So, Haley got the part about the bar right. We're in 1938. There is a black man. He is playing a guitar. They are in a bar. Then he stops playing suddenly. He runs outside. He goes home. He bolts the door, and then the people who are at the bar come in and find him on the floor having a seizure, and he dies after saying black dogs. Now we're in the present day. So Dean is in the Fed's database. That's from last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then they find out that the current hunt, there is an architect who died after plummeting from the roof of his house. And he had called animal controls, having seen vicious wild black dogs, but no one else saw them. So they show up at his partner's house, like his business partner. And they talk to him and find out that he used to be a bartender at a place called Lloyd's and then suddenly became a genius designer, even though he had never been like a genius before that. So they stop by animal control and they've gotten 19 calls about this, and she gives them the address of another person who reported seeing black dogs, and they go and talk to her maid, and she disappeared 2 days ago, and she became a surgeon, super young, and then they find a picture of her where she was also at Lloyd's bar. This surgeon, she's in her hotel room. She's freaking the fuck out. And the hotel manager is like, you gotta pay. And when she like looks at him, like there's a freaky demon face that we hated. Sam and Dean go to the bar, and then they are like, whoa, there happens to be a crossroad here. I guess they already knew about crossroads because Dean just starts digging a hole and finds a bottle of graveyard dirt, a black capone, and other deep hoodoo items used for summoning demons. And Dean recalls that crossroads are where packs are made. And so they realize they must be seeing hellhounds. I don't know when they learned this. Maybe this is just some of their knowledge.
Honest to God, Taya, they probably learned it when they were 6 years old.
That's true. Then we go back to the motel room. The surgeon is crying, and then hellhounds shatter through the glass. We don't see them. We never see them, and tear her to shreds. And there's blood on the carpet.
Well,
we are flashing
clothes to shreds. They don't really tear
and her leg.
Shreds. Yeah,
dude, her leg was bleeding so bad.
Yeah, but it wasn't like shreds.
She was getting clawed.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Clawed.
That's what the wiki says. That's what the wiki says. We flash back in time. We're back in time, and we are watching the black man who was playing blues at the beginning make a deal with the devil.
Whoa!
And then we are back in the present, and they talk about the Robert Johnson legend. That is the black man who died. He was a real man. And Supernatural just took this and said, why not? They find their way to an artist. I don't remember how they got to this man. And there is a line of, they say pepper outside the door. And they're like, what's up with this? And he says, it's goofer dust. It's protection against demons. And he basically is like, I asked for talent, but not fame. So now I'm poor and I'm lonely. But he's just trying to stave off the dogs long enough to get one last painting. We never see this poor black man again. This episode is not nice to its black men. Now we meet Evan, whose name we were given from the artist. So Evan is also hearing dogs, and his wife comes in and says goodbye, and her face also does a creepy thing. Then Sam and Dean show up at Evan's, and Evan tries to lock them out, but they go into the study and say, hey, we know what's up. Evan's wife was dying of cancer, and that's why he made his deal. He wanted to save her. So, Dean leaves to go to the Crossroads to deal with the demon and gives Sam the goofer dust. And Sam thinks it's a bad idea, and Dean leaves. So Dean summons the Crossroad demon, and he says they should go in the car, but then they never go into the car, which is weird.
Well, it's because they don't go in the car because there was a
trap.
Demon.
Yeah, but it's like it's so weird that he's like, let's
really,
go to the
Dean?
car, and then they go under the water. It's weird. It's just kind of weird. It's weird with the way that this wiki is written. Okay.
Yeah.
Sam, we're back at Evans. Sam is covering every place with goofer dust. They're standing in the middle of the circle of goofer dust. Dean tells the demon that he wants to release Evan from his contract, and then there is a devil's trap underneath the car. The demon tries to convince she tries to convince Dean that she will bring John back because he's supposed to be alive, quote unquote. But there's another devil trap underneath
the bridge thing.
the bridge. So I guess there was one under the car, and she just noticed it and didn't get in.
Yeah,
I missed that entirely.
Oh, you missed? Yeah, that's what happened.
My bad. I'm sorry. He starts to speak Latin to exorcise her. The Hellhound is in the study and getting closer to the circle. We're flashing between the two. The demon agrees to end Evan's contract just before Dean exorcises her. She kisses him to seal it. He lets her out of the trap, and she says that Dean should have taken her up on the deal, and then leaves the girl's body. And then Sam and Dean talk about their dad some, and the episode ends. It's kind of a confusing episode, I'm going to be honest.
Kind of?
Well, I think if you're watching it for the first time, it makes more sense. But it contradicts some things that we learned later, which I'll talk about later, in regards to the lore, which is why I was confused the whole time. But we got confused about, because I think I missed the first time they mentioned the artist's name. So I thought for a while that he was Robert Johnson, who was the singer at the beginning, which is where Haley got confused because she thought the singer might have survived.
Yeah, I was like, how is this guy? Like, he was not young. Like, that would be 70 years.
Oh, that's why we got confused, because I was like, wow, that picture is really well preserved.
Oh!
That picture wasn't Robert. That was the artist. That's how they found the artist.
Oh.
The way we are only realizing this after I read the entire wiki, we're 13 minutes in. Maybe we should just stop and give up.
Maybe we should just not even read my notes.
It's a nightmare.
So here's my notes, though, of which there are not many. First note, oh my god, Meg. In the opening, there was like a little flash of Meg, like a little one, like a little little sip.
One of those like previously on Supernatural.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, Meg. And I got really excited because I thought maybe Meg would be in this episode, but I think they were just reminding us that demons exist, though. So that was sad. Then I have, hey, are we in the past right now? There's a weird green sepia tone, because it wasn't just like sepia? I think it's sepia. Whatever. It wasn't just that. It was also like a little bit green, like aged copper.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have, hey, is it weird that the first time we're experiencing hellhounds is in what appears to be an all-black speakeasy? They're in some sort of jazz bar in all fancy clothes, so I assume speakeasy, based on fashion. We learned after, it's not a speakeasy because it's 1938, which is after Prohibition by about 18 years. So, around the same time, I guess, but not a speakeasy, just like a club. Then I have, Dean is in the FBI database. So funny. And I think Dean actually cracks a joke about it, and Sam is like, literally, this isn't funny. And it's another one of those little fun moments where I did a Dean thing and regretted it. Then, cast Sammy. I didn't actually notice if Sam had his cast on through the whole episode, but in the beginning he did.
I think he did, but he was wearing like a longer coat. Like he had long sleeves, so you don't see it as much.
Okay. We love a cast Sammy. We love it. Then, ew, Dean, talk about dogs humping again and I'll kill you. Because they're talking about hellhounds and like a big dog, and he says something about humping, and I was like, I want you to die. This guy seems to be upset about the wrong thing here. This is Sean's friend, who doesn't have a name. He's just Sean's friend.
Sean is the very first person who dies.
Yeah, he's the architect. And then I have a note connected to this that says, post-watch update! Found out why he's so familiar. He's Julian DuPont in iZombie. The actor is that character. So that was fun for me. That was a little Haley connection. Just for me. Supernatural just implied just now that Mozart was killed by hellhounds. There's a comment about how like famous people tend to die young, and have you noticed that like these people like rise out of nowhere? So there's this like weird implication that if not in real life, in the supernatural verse, famous people have all made deals with Crossroad demons, which is
Yeah.
such a choice. Supernatural is a
Yeah.
funny, funny show. And honestly, Taya, I think maybe we should keep that for the remake. I think that in the Supernatural universe, all celebrities have made deals with demons. Dean doesn't know what MySpace is.
I
Guys,
guess, like, if you think about it, he doesn't really, like, do anything aside from hunt. Why would
no,
he have
he
social
just,
media?
like, he doesn't have a computer. Sam has a computer. He has, like, a flip phone, but all he does is drive Baby and listen to cassette tapes. Dean Winchester is technologically unsavvy. This man does not know what the fuck MySpace is. This man probably doesn't know how to Google search. He is so fucking funny, and I think that that should be something in our Supernatural remake. Even if we make our Supernatural remake in like a future more modern to us setting, where iPhones and like
Mm-hmm.
laptops are very
Mm-hmm.
normal to have. I think Dean just shouldn't know anything about technology. I think that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I have is the implication that Lloyd's bar is on a crossroads? The answer was yes, obviously. Then I have, hey, that scary ghoul moment was genuinely very scary. That's the ghoul moment outside of the doctor lady's house that we talked about, that Taya mentioned. It was actually like fucking freaky effects, and they're effects that are used again two
Yep.
or three times, I think, in the episode. And the first time was obviously the scariest because we weren't expecting it, but I don't think it lost its creepy factor. So, like, good on Supernatural for this episode for, like, actually being convincingly frightening
Mm-hmm.
because they're not great at that. I have a little note here that Taya will expand on later. Yarrow flowers? Summoning rituals? Then I have haha, little birdie bone moment. It turned out it was a cat bone, but I didn't know that. I don't know what animal bones look like. I see a small bone and I just assume it's from a bird.
Mm-hmm.
Graveyard dirt is my next note, because I went off on a tangent about graveyard dirt. Did you know there's people on Etsy who try to sell graveyard dirt? Like,
Yeah.
people try to sell graveyard dirt, guys, and they're like, this is genuine and um, ethically sourced graveyard dirt from the local cemetery. It was harvested under a full moon, and I prayed before I harvested it. Like, no, you fucking didn't. You went in your backyard, got a trowel, and put some fucking dirt in a mason jar. Holy shit! Oh my
They
god.
might have prayed over it, but, like, there's no guarantee that anything's gonna come from this dirt that you're paying a lot of money for.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna make bank off of graveyard dirt on Etsy. Then my next note is Maid Marian once upon a time is a fucking Crossroads demon. We see whose Crossroads demon was it? I don't remember.
Oh,
Was it the jazz guy in
Roberts.
the 30s?
Roberts, yeah.
It was Roberts.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The original guy.
Roberts, yeah, the original Crossroad demon who started it all in this episode, um, is played by the actress who plays Maid Marian in Once Upon a Time. So that was a fun little Haley moment for me. Again, two fun little Haley
Mm-hmm.
moments for me, for Haley. Um,
For
then
Haley.
I have a note. Wait, so Buddy's in the way. My note says wait. Okay, so all of these songs that are
Buddy, this
about
is already a
demons
long episode. You gotta move over.
are written by people who. Oh, I never finished this note. It just ends on people who. Uh,
Great.
what I wanted to write was made deals with demons. Which again, fun lore thing, I guess. That could be a fun little universe building thing that like all these songs about making deals with demons are actual deals with demons, and people don't put that together except for hunters because people don't think that demons are real, except hunters realize that they are. That's
Uh-huh.
fun. That's fun, but I don't think Supernatural put that much thought into it. As in, I know they didn't because it's Supernatural, but I'm putting that much thought into it because I'm a Haley and I'm crazy.
Okay.
So, next note is weird camera angle. It was when Dean and Sam were knocking on the door. And then this note says, how did this man live through hellhounds? Is this being implied to be the same guy from 1930? It can't be right. And then immediately after, there's a note that says, okay, update. It's not the same guy. I really, 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 because okay, how many times does Supernatural have two men, dark-skinned men of color, in the same episode?
Very rarely.
Very rarely. So I was like, hold on.
We also missed when they said his name, and I don't actually know if they ever said Robert's name. They had to have some point, but it was like it was unclear, and we got
this
confused
episode
because
was not it.
when they found the picture in the box, I don't think we were paying enough attention. But I also don't think they said who it was because they were just like, "Oh, we found it," but like the last person we'd seen digging or like implied to have dug, like the last person we saw on the Crossroads was Robert. So like,
yeah,
it wasn't the most seamless transition.
Right. So I was very confused, and Supernatural needs to treat their POC characters better. It's not news. We know this. There are so many characters in this episode. There are too many. I'm overwhelmed is my next note, which I think directly correlates back to that fact. I didn't know what was fucking going on because so many characters were just being thrown at us, which doesn't usually happen. And usually when it happens, we know the character, like, usually in Supernatural, when there's an episode with a lot of characters, we have been introduced to all of the characters separately at different points. Like, for example, season 2 finale when we meet all the psychic kids in one place. We've met all of these people in different episodes. Now they are being congregated. In this episode, we have like Sally, John, Lainey, and Peter, and they're all different characters, and they all have made deals with the Crossroads demons, but I don't know who any of them are or what their deals have been. Next note is, come on, we're not demons. Dean is funny. That's when he's knocking on the door of Evan's house. Next note, Dean just being ready to destroy anything and everything, and Sam like, Dean, come on, preservation, please. It's so funny.
Yeah.
That's a good sibling thing to keep, for sure. It's, in the moment that I wrote that for was, in order to get into the house, Dean kicks down the door, and then he tries to kick down the bedroom door and open in order to. Well, I don't think it's a bedroom. It's just
like an
closed door.
It's like an office.
He tries to kick down that door as well, and Sam is like, Dean, no. My next note is Evan with a frowny face, because you find out that Evan made the deal to he made the deal because the person in the bar was just like, hee, I can do anything for you, and he was like, yeah, okay, so you can save my wife from dying of cancer. And
it's just like,
and I mean, they sure did stop his wife from dying of cancer, and now he's scared of dying because he's gonna die soon, but he doesn't, so that's fun. God damn it! That's fine. I'll just do it after. I was gonna do the death count before my notes and try to bring death count back, but I forgot to. I'll just do it after my notes, I guess.
Sounds good.
HATRUSA rewrite. Dean has heavily read philosophers because he said a thing. He said a thing. Evan's like, I did it for her, and Dean is like, okay, did you or did you do it for you? And I'm currently enrolled in 2 philosophy courses in university, and I've been reading a lot of philosophy, and that's like something that philosophers would say. So I was like, wow, I can't believe Dean is a well-read philosopher. So I think that in our rewrite, like, Dean does not like school and he does not like reading, but the one thing that he does like is reading philosophy, which is so funny because
lame.
philosophy is so dense and so boring and so dry, and the fact that Dean hates reading but likes philosophy, so funny.
Kind of insane of him.
It's kind of insane of him. I like it for him. He can have that. That's Dean's new little quirk for us, I think. Here's my one. Dean's eyelashes look gorgeous in this episode. Then I have, oh my god, John mentioned and a little blushy emoji because I thought that would be funny. I hate John so much. I would be okay if he's never mentioned again. Then I have a quote from the Crossroads demon where she says, I know all about you, Dean Winchester. I get the newsletter. And I was like, There's a demon newsletter? Please, I want to know more about this. I need to know what is written about the Winchester brothers in the demon newsletter that probably goes out every day. Because you know that shit's going on every day with these losers.
Mm-hmm.
Next note is, he's gonna fuck this demon in the car. Then my next note is, Dean's Crossroads demon's acting is so off, and it's like almost vaudevillian.
Yeah.
We had a lot of things to say about this actress.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry to this actress. It just
Yeah, like,
wasn't
I'm
a great
sorry.
performance.
It was just, at one point, Taya said, like, you can tell that she's putting in her all, and she's doing the most for this. And I said, yeah, well, I was like, yeah, well, the most isn't always the best. So,
that's true.
That's my hot take of the day. Friends, the most does not always mean the best. Especially if you're in a role for Supernatural.
One that you don't get to come back for.
Right.
Because she gets replaced next time.
Correct. If Dean made a deal to bring John back right now, I'd throw a fit, is my next note. And then I have a quote from Taya where they said, gaslight guilt trip, girl boss. And then they said, I hate to see a girl boss winning. Which was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Then, in reference to the, what's the dust called? Doom dust? Dope dust? Goofer dust.
Goofer dust?
I said, it's like the sea bear circle in SpongeBob. Taya doesn't get that reference because Taya didn't watch SpongeBob. But
no,
I
my
get
mom
it.
always thought it was, my mom always thought it was stupid.
Yeah, because it is.
And so, we never watched it. Simple as that.
Yeah, my dad liked to watch it with us. It's the sea, yeah, the Goofer Dust Circle is like the sea bear circle in SpongeBob, and it's so funny. Then I have, Dean, like, never speaks in Latin, but in this scenario, he speaks Latin to try to exorcise the demon. That, like, never happens.
In his defense, he has no other choice.
Yeah, I know he has no other choice, but, like, it never happens.
Well, yeah, it never happens. And can't think of a time where it has happened other than this.
Right. So my note is, what's our lore for this, Taya? In Supernatural HATRUSA remake, why does Dean never say the Latin? Because I think we should have a reason. I think that would be fun.
It could be as simple as Sammy has had some, like, because they haven't run into demons before this. They just haven't. Before this series starts, they haven't run into demons. So it might make sense if Sammy has had some experience in some Latin phrases for law, like, because he's a pre-law student, and law does have a lot of Latin phrases. And so it could be something as simple as Dean doesn't want to fuck up the pronunciation, and usually one of them has to be, like, ready with a weapon and torturing someone when they do these. Right. It happens all the time. One of them is usually doing the active fighting, and usually it's Dean, but they could actually go out of their way and say, just, like, they kind of have one shot at this, and, like, pronunciation is important, so Sam has a better grasp on Latin than Dean. Like, the show just doesn't give anything like that. They're just, like, it's usually going to be Sam doing it because Sam's the nerdy one. Right. But, you know,
but I think our reason should be more. And that's why we're rewriting
it a little more. Exactly.
My next note is weird next time on, followed by, oh my god, it's Croatoan. Hell yes, hell yeah. But then followed by, I am so confused about this. Mm-hmm. The reason I was confused, fellow folks, listeners, fans, etc., is because, quote, unlike most episodes, this one ends with a preview of events to come, specifically the next two episodes, Croatoan and Hunted. Y'all, I am fairly fucking certain that this is the only episode in all 15 seasons of Supernatural where there's a next time on. Like, publicly execute me if it happens again, but I am fairly certain this is the only time it ever happens, and it's so weird. And that is all my notes. Oh, wait! Let me, hold on. Death count today is 4.
Is what? Oh,
Four.
sorry,
It's
your
four.
count. I thought you cut out, and I was just like, huh?
No, it's
Sorry, I'm
four.
also applying to a job as we do this.
Oh my lord. Well, Taya,
It
it's
has
your
a
lore
deadline.
library. Taya,
Okay,
it's time for
so
your lore library.
for once, we are doing lore library. So we're gonna circle back to Yarrow, which Haley mentioned earlier. The boys go to a field like outside of the bar. I think that's why they realized it, because there was a crossroad
It is.
and
They were
people
like,
had gotten disappeared, and there's Yarrow, and they're like, oh, summoning.
like-
And for those of you who don't know, it's like a yellow flower.
yeah.
They said that it's used for summoning. So I've tried to research this, and I have had a little bit of a hard time due to the nature of, I don't know how to word this. I guess the internet, because I didn't go on like Joster because I wasn't feeling like reading through like dozens of academic papers for like Yarrow to be mentioned like once, because Joster doesn't have a great like within its document search system. But because there's lots of witch blogs on the internet, which I can respect, a lot of these are just talking about their experience, and they don't actually have like citations and sources, which is fine for your own practice. But when I'm looking at like historical uses and like beliefs on a subject, I'm not looking for what like someone like in 2022 is doing with this flower. So I was running into a lot of like, this is my witch blog, this is how I use yarrow in my practice, and I say that in medieval times sometimes it was used to help summon the devil and also drive him away, and it was also sometimes used in exorcisms, but I couldn't find anything else about that exorcism part. But I can't find anything about that anywhere but these blogs. It doesn't even, summoning actually doesn't even show up on the Wikipedia page, which makes me think that, like, Wikipedia is not
Wait, what
always
if-
the best, but,
What are the chances all these blogs got that idea from Supernatural?
well, I'm wondering if one, it could go either way, because I didn't check when these blogs are from. Let me see if I have any open. This one doesn't have a date on it. That's good.
Okay.
And then this one is from 2019.
Oh
So
my
it's
God.
possible that these grabbed it, that at least this one, because I closed a bunch when I realized there's a few on here that do have citations, but a lot of them are like other witch blogs or other YouTubers
Okay.
or books I don't have access to. So like I don't consider that what I'm looking for. So this person could have gotten it from Supernatural. What I'm seeing on Wikipedia is like Achilles used yarrow during Troy. Like, cool. Yarrow is considered to be lucky in the Chinese tradition. It was believed to give second sight in Hebrides. Hair. It's a Scottish archipelago. And like
Oh.
sometimes it was used to find one's real sweetheart in Sussex and Devonshire. Another says it from like 1616 in a witchcraft trial. Someone said that they used yarrow to like cure distemper and impart the faculty of prediction. And it could also maybe bring luck. But this page says nothing about summoning. So there's a chance that the Supernatural writers were like, well, that's a fun name, yarrow. Yarrow's a fun name. What if we said that you could summon shit with it?
Stop, you're right.
The only other thing I did want to say, because there's nothing more to say about this flower. Most of this was just me going, I can't find anything. But this is in the goofs section of this Wikipedia page. It says, the way that the hellhounds kill their victims in this episode is different than they do in other episodes. Rather than maul their victims to death, they cause heart attacks and suicides. The attack on Sylvia Perlman, that's the surgeon, bears the closest resemblance to later hellhound attacks, but even she is dragged out of the room and is stated to have vanished instead of the hellhound simply killing her there and then. So, then and there, whatever. That's what confused me the most, because I was trying to figure out what was going on with like the demon viewpoint and everything, because when we get later into the episodes, they kind of just kill you. They rip you up real bad, and that's it. So I got confused in this one because I was thinking of that, and I was trying to figure out how, like, why they were being why the first one was ruled as a suicide, because it was. It's just this show is so, when they decide they want to add a monster of the week, they don't always know what they're going to do with it first. So they just kind of like do whatever they feel like for that moment, and then when they decide, oh, this character, these are going to come back more and more, because hellhounds come back several times, they completely change the lore, and they did that for demons. And hellhounds and demons end up being so big that it's just very frustrating, where it was like, you should have had a better idea of what you were going to do.
Right.
Or you should have committed to your earlier decisions.
Correct.
Because now you just have inconsistencies that make this a very confusing episode to watch, because you're like, why? What?
And retconning is one of my least favorite things in the world, and I say that as a Homestuck fan. Where there's literally an arc about retconning the fucking events of the story. Like,
that sounds like a nightmare, and Haley, I'm glad I've never read Homestuck, because I think it would really
I'm
just
literally
piss me
gonna
off
make
so
you
mad.
read Homestuck, and it's gonna be so fun.
Says you. You just told me they try to retcon everything.
They don't try to, they physically do. John goes back through the story and
I hate that shit. We can't keep talking about Homestuck. We're already 40 minutes in.
We could keep talking about Homestuck.
No,
we
we
don't
can't.
Want to.
Next section.
Hey. What happened to Jared Padalecki?
What do you mean?
I don't know, I just went on Twitter, and there's a tag that says, "We love you, Jared Padalecki," and it says, there's...
Hold on, let me get on Twitter. The first thing y'all need to know about me is maybe 6 months ago now, I set my location in Twitter to be a random place in Japan, so I can't even read the characters of the trending stuff on the side.
Oh my god.
Sometimes I will if it's a really big thing, but I don't want to know. I don't like knowing. Oh, you know what I think it was? I think those Minecraft YouTubers kept trending, and I wanted to stop seeing these all caps whatever.
Guys, it says love to Jarpad and the entire Padalecki family.
Hold on.
Oh, he canceled his appearance at some convention this weekend for personal reasons.
Oh, that's... I thought it was going to be something serious, and we were going to have to, cut out my goofs here and be something genuinely serious. It could still be serious.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be
Jared
go on
and be
he
was
an arm.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be he was seriously injured.
Yeah. No, he canceled a fucking convention.
I'm not trying to say, we have no idea why he canceled, but I thought I was going to have to be oh my god, Jared Padalecki died.
Yeah, so in hindsight, if this is something serious and bad, Jared Padalecki, I'm sorry. I hope you're doing good. I hope everything's
We're really
fine.
sorry, but
also, if you
nothing
just
has been released.
Yeah, but Jared Padalecki, if you canceled your appearance at a con just because you didn't want to go and maybe you're scared of COVID still, and your fans are oh my god, Jared, we love you. Oh my god, people are insane. Okay, sorry.
I don't even know what we were talking about. This episode's the worst.
This episode's the worst. I hope everybody has so much fun with it. I've talked about Homestuck. You were talking about Yarrow Flowers, then you were talking about Hellhounds, we were talking about lore, the fact that they don't fucking stick to their guns, they change everything. Supernatural's bad, and they didn't think ahead. Retcon! We were talking about retconning,
and then we finished that, and I told you to move on to the next section, and you said Jared Padalecki.
Oh, you told me to move on to the next section?
Yeah.
Okay, so today's episode is brought to you by Hair of the Dog by Nazareth.
Cool. I feel legally obligated to say, for me, this episode is brought to you by Crossroad Blues by Robert Johnson, because I think that this is super interesting.
Wait a minute!
What?
Hold on.
While Haley does that, the version of this song used in this episode, according to the trivia section, is actually sung by the real-life Robert Johnson, and it is the only recording ever made of him singing that song, and I do think that's kind of cool.
Hey.
What?
I'm shook to death right now.
What? We can't keep doing this, Haley. We're already over.
We have to do this. This is relevant. So, Robert Johnson, right?
Yeah?
I'm sitting here, I'm why do I know this name? Why do I know this name? Why have I heard this name?
Okay.
In Tim McGraw's 2004 album, Live Like You Were Dying. The first track on the album is How Bad Do You Want It? Where in the introduction, I goes, I'll read it instead of singing it to save you the pain. But he says, in the intro, Robert Johnson went to the crossroads, so the legend goes. He left with his guitar, and the devil took his soul. The devil took his soul.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There is a legend that he sold his soul at the crossroads for the ability to play the guitar. Did you not read the trivia section?
No, I did. That's literally one of my. Damn, that's. Spoiler alert. That's my favorite. But. No, but like that's why it was so familiar to me. It's because I knew it because of the fucking song "How Bad Do You Want It" by Tim McGraw on the album that I listened to most growing up. Anyway. My favorite Wikipedia page is in the trivia section, where it says, and I quote, "The bluesman at the beginning of the episode is Robert Johnson, a real-life bluesman. There is a legend that he sold his soul at the crossroads for the ability to play guitar. Supernatural takes this legend and spins it into a subplot for the episode, showing Robert's deal and his death." So I suppose I could have saved the Tim McGraw bit for after that, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shook right now. Oh my god, Tim McGraw. Yeah. He taught me.
Oh, mine is typically Crossroad demons provide their clients with a period of 10 years. However, for an unknown reason, Robert Johnson was given 8 years. He made the deal in 1930 and the Hellhound killed him in 1938. Why didn't they have him make the deal in 1928?
I don't know.
It's like, they're already making shit up. Like, was that when he got famous? Like, because that doesn't say anything on the wiki page. Like, maybe it took him some time to get famous. Like, they could have just done it so they had those 10 years so it wasn't weird and confusing. But they didn't. Because even in this episode, they say it's 10 years. Because the surgeon got her position 10 years ago.
10 years ago, yeah.
Like, you can't have continuity in your own episode? I hate it here.
It's so funny in here, guys. I can't even deal with it.
Is it funny?
It's so funny. You have to laugh.
Okay.
Would you like to know my rating?
Yes. While you do that, I have to open IMDb, So
today's episode rating, it's 1.3 out of 10 deals with a demon.
Oh my god.
I don't like this episode. It was lame. It was boring. It did not capture me at all. And I didn't put together the fact that Robert Johnson was a real person in real life until I read the fandom Wikipedia page and also put together the link with Tim McGraw's song. So, this episode sucks, and I don't like it. However, it does not suck as bad as one of them. It does not... where is it? I need to make a chart of all of my episode rankings so that I don't have to flip through all my fucking notes.
You could make a spreadsheet.
That would be... it is not as bad as Season 1, Episode 15, The Benders, which was a 0.7.
Alright, so on IMDb, this has an 8.7 out of 10.
That's too high.
Which is about the same as last week. So I'm going to just read some titles. This is an 8 out of 10. A very important episode. Which is technically true. It introduces the concept of a crossroad demon, which they use constantly, and to an annoying degree.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose.
Yeah. A great tribute to fans of blues. I guess. This one is called A Deal with the Devil.
Oh my god, me.
Alright. A very good episode. Even though a lot of Supernatural's episodes are very similar, this one was very good and well put together. You learn a little background information and more about Dean's personality.
Do you?
This one's my favorite, actually. 8 out of 10. Demons. May 29th, 2020. I liked the mythology of demons. It's a fine ep. Classic funny Dean moments, too. They are the best. Also, yeah, Dean's got issues.
I think I wrote that one.
You're Shweta-Fabum? I think we've talked about this person before.
Oh my god, Shweta?
Yeah. That's so funny. This person also gave it an 8 out of 10 and called it annoyingly disjointed plotty. Still good despite that.
Do you think we could? Does Shweta have like a profile that we can like send a DM to and be like, hey, come on our
I
show?
don't think that is how this works.
I think it should be.
I don't think it's how it works.
I
They
want to
watched
reach out.
*Malignant*, and oh, did they only review up to episode 18 of season 15?
They
So I
gave
don't think
up.
they went all the way through. That's so
Aw,
sad. They got so
Shweta.
far. Anyway, they liked *Malignant*. They gave it a 9.
That's fun. I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's your time
I
to
feel
tell.
insane. I feel insane, Haley.
Oh my god, this episode's so long!
Thank you for listening to the longest HATRUSA episode of all time because we can't get our shit together. We really appreciate it. We appreciate any shares, likes, comments, reviews. I don't know if there's anything else you can do, but you should share this podcast with any friends you have. Maybe your friend just needs some noise in the background. You don't have to understand this. You don't even really have to listen to this. But if you want to play us in the background,
The
you
dulcet
should.
tones of Haley Balkin whispering into your ear.
Well, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you just like want to put on like a video essay and like not pay
No, I
attention to
know.
it.
I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm
I think
not
that
goofing. I'm
yeah,
serious.
I think that we have over 30 episodes now. Do you know how long that is? Share us with your friends.
We're on everything ever.
Yes, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, and eventually we'll be on YouTube. It's I got rid of my Adobe account, so I have to download new movie making stuff. Give me a little bit. I'm going
Yeah,
through it.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Hey, Taya.
Hey Haley.
Am I the only one who thought Croatoan was in like season 6?
No, I also thought it was forever now. I was
Because I
confused
swore
too.
to God that Castiel was in Croatoan.
I thought so too.
But
I
I
know it
fucking
comes
guess
back, but
not.
I thought he was already
Because
here.
join us next time for Croatoan.
Yeah.
What?
Catch you on the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side. Robert Johnson went to Crossroads. So the legend goes. He went with his guitar, and the devil took his soul. The devil took his soul. That's how it goes. It's really good.